Hello there, fellow humans, and welcome to another episode of your replays. And today we're going to have a look at some of the old maps and, more importantly, how to play maps, because pretty much the most important difference between a good team and a bad team is going to be map control. If you have mediums camping in spawn, heavies not doing their job, or tank destroyers staring to the middle of nowhere, you're obviously going to lose the match. If you don't control the map, well then obviously the enemy, if they're smart enough, will gain control of the map and will take control of the match and then obviously easily win. We start off here at the top of Malinovka with the FE215B, which is a vehicle that doesn't really have that much armor, but it does have a pretty good gun with 400 alpha damage that is very usable through pretty much anything, really, if you know what you're doing. However, compared to like a Super Conqueror or a T-57 Heavy, you have to try pretty hard to get a lot of performance out of this one. Luckily, we've got a pretty good player here with a pretty funny name as well. You can read for yourself. And at this point, what is important here? Most maps are designed that you fight in the middle of the map, right? So if you sit somewhere in the spawn in the background, you have a problem. Because, for example, as you can see right here, the FE215B is holding this central position. If the 57 Heavy of the type would be pushed up on the exact opposite side of the 215B, this would be a lot more of a fair fight. But those guys are further back. They're at that second rock back there. So the 215B has a massive positional advantage right here because he's controlling the exact middle of the map here. And this is the kind of thing that you need to do if you want to control the match, if you want to win more, to control these essential points of the map. Because if you give it up, look at these guys. There's nothing they can do. I mean, sure, they could drive up, but then they're just going to face a 215B and a Concept 1B, and they're going to get absolutely annihilated. And now, just look at how they're being destroyed down there because they don't hold the essential positions. And that's the one thing you can do better if you're struggling to play a Blitz. Understand the maps better, understand the matches better. Because most players have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And if you can push them into a position where they're in a natural disadvantage, you can very easily capitalize after and win quite easily. I mean, look at this. They're all, even 100 is dead, the 57 Heavy is dead, Type 71's gonna die very soon. Now, it's still an even match because the 4005 did die. The problem with this map is why it got replaced, is that this position up here is way too powerful, and the rest of it is just really weird because you have this massive drop in the middle of the map where you only really have 2 access points. So you have this entirely separated 2-part map. That doesn't really work very well, and if you lose control of this hill, you pretty much lose control of half the map, which isn't really good. But if you have control of the hill, like here, and having done 3,000 damage already, it's pretty much a free win right there, unless the 183 shoots the other 183, because look at the tank destroyers, they're just sitting in the back. But the 140 on the enemy team could still be pretty dangerous. Now, it is a supremacy match. That medium could have taken A, could have maybe even taken B, but he didn't, because he was just over there doing absolutely nothing. And that's another thing. If you have nothing to do, do something, right? Reposition. If you're playing supremacy, take a cap circle. Do something to progress the battle forward, because right now, this has gone down to a 3v3, because all those tank destroyers have died. And now, very well spotted here, aggress on the FV, because obviously, if the FV pushes down, the FV is going to shoot you. But if you just simply drive past the 183's gun, the 183 can't shoot you anymore. So it is very important to start learning to know when do you stay back, when do you exit a fight, or when do you go in, when do you push. And that's the exact situation right there. That 183, if you stay where you are, he can just shoot you. But if you decide to push past him, he has to decide, who does he aim at? Who does he shoot at? Because if he turns around, he's dead. If he doesn't turn around, he's also dead. You always want to fight from multiple angles at the same time as well. And that's the second important part about map control, is that you want to actually control the map. You don't just want to sit in one corner and just push there, because that's never going to happen. I mean, it is a tactic that works really well in tournaments where you just bulk together and you go. But most of the time, in a match like this, in randoms, you're never going to get people to commit to actually push through and to go for it. So ideally, what you want to do on most maps is to control the middle and then one side of the map. In most cases, in most maps, that is the medium side that you want to control. It's obviously bigger, you have more options to go around. Again, if you have the enemy behind you, you've played the match role. pretty much. It's not the enemy that achieved anything there. It's you did something wrong as a team, basically. I mean, there's always going to be matches where you can do absolutely nothing about that. But if the enemy is behind you and in front of you, then you as a team have made a terrible mistake, and that's never the way it's supposed to be. And now, the subject, he can't do anything. Well done. With 5,200 damage. Right here on the old Malinovka, which is a map that I really didn't miss. Because, in general, I think the new Malinovka is actually a better map. But what do you think about old Malinovka, new Malinovka? Which one's better? Put it down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button as well. So again, what is important? Take map control. It's going to get even more important on the next map as well. And then the third battle, that's where map control decides everything. But first, we have the 113 with Turtle at the wheel right here. And here's the thing. Map control is very important. Another thing that is also very important is taking the match from multiple angles. Never fighting everybody from the same point. I already said that don't bulk up unless you're trying to push through. But here in this battle, you're going to see exactly why it works so well if you spread out a little bit and attack the enemy from different sides. Because right now, this, obviously, it is, you know, Sheridan's dead. And on this map, you have to take the middle here. You have to take the temple. That's in the name of the map. So you want to take control of that, and you want to make use of that. Now 5 versus 7 already right here. After 1 minute, both light tanks are dead. So what do you do here? Do you sit around? No, you have to identify the enemy's weak point. Where is the enemy weakest? And that's where you want to attack, right? You always want to do 1v1v1. You never want to fight multiple tanks at the same time, unless you have to. And you never want to fight fights that are disadvantageous towards you, right? Like, you wouldn't want to fight an E5 that's hull down when you're in an AMX-50B, for example. You wouldn't want to, like, hull down brawl an E5 if you're in a tank that has 6 degrees of gun depression. You wouldn't want to do that. But if you have a lot more DPM and you're on flat ground, you go for it. Because that makes a lot more sense there. So, here, again, attack the 113 GFT because it is the weakest link, and you take it out. Take fights that are favorable towards you. Always make sure to be the one that wins. If you enter a fight without knowing that you will be the winner, you've made a mistake. And here, the E5, he's gonna make a mistake later, but you'll see. But here, what we have here, we got the 113 GFT and the 113 here. 2 sides. That's 60 TP. If he aims at the tank destroyer, he can't aim at the heavy. If he aims at the heavy, he can't aim at the tank destroyer. The same with the MX here. If the MX tries to peek on the tank destroyer, he's gonna get shot by the heavy, and that's what you want to do. And it doesn't matter if it's 20 meters apart or if it's 200 meters apart. You never want to be in the same spot. If both the tank destroyer and the heavy would be on the same side here, then it would be a lot easier for those heavies to actually make their peaks and to do damage. But in this case, no matter where they go, they're always going to get shot. And that's what you don't want to do yourself, ever. You always want to be the guy doing this, because right now, Turtle can only be attacked from one side, and that's right there from the 60 AP. I mean, he keeps looking at the T-22 medium, whether the T-22 medium's trying to open a second flank, right? So thinking very well there. But the only point of attack that they had was right in front of them. Meanwhile, the WZ and the Turtle could just simply crossfire from both sides. And that's what you want to do. And now, 3v3. That quickly. It's a disadvantage. Turns back into an advantage. And somehow the Super Conqueror got the T100 as well. And now, the Super Conqueror's left alive. And the E5's left alive because the MX has now been finished off. And now what does the E5 do? He was in a pretty good position over there. But no, he puts himself in the middle between the Super Conqueror and the 113. The worst thing that he could have... This is the worst decision that he could have made in this situation, right? Pushing in to the disadvantage, because wherever he turns, he will be shot, either by the 113 or by the Super Conqueror. If he looks at the Super Conqueror, he's getting shot by the 113. And that is exactly what you do not want to do, and what you never want to do. You want to take control of the map, but you don't want to push yourself into a situation where you can be attacked from multiple tanks at the same time. But because that didn't happen here, and Turtle pretty much played it perfectly, they somehow managed to win a game that, in most cases, is unwinnable when you lose your 2 mediums or light tanks at the start of the match. And if you start using that, if you start understanding, okay, it's a lot more about the flow of the battle than anything else, you're going to improve in Blitz quite a lot. Now, we have the T95E6, got buffed, really good tank now, does have quite a bit of mobility. And now we get to, well, the map that has one decision to make. Do you want to win? Or do you say, let's play like that AMX and sit at the back and lose this match? Because there is one way to win this, and that is to take that ridge right there in front of you. If you don't take that ridge, you do not win this map in 90% of cases, pretty much. This is the be-all and end-all of this map. If you take the control of this middle battleground here, you can win. If you don't take control of that, good luck, because you have a really bad time trying to win. Especially if you also lose the island over there where the medium tanks go, pretty much you're screwed. Now the I-7 does this stupid here. He tried to take control again, but he again puts himself into the middle of everyone, pretty much. I don't know how else to put it. There's like 5 tanks that are looking at him. So there's the Sheridan on the island over there doing his job. And this I-7 just pushed in way too much. He didn't have the support. You can do that when you know that your teammates are going to support you, but in most cases they won't. So you want to take the control, but you don't want to push yourself into a disadvantage. And that's kind of what this E100 has done. He's again getting shot at from 2 sides. I mean, the MX can peek one side of the rock, and the T95 can peek the other side of the rock, right? So not much you can do there. Obviously, the rest of the team is still pretty campy at the back, but in this case, the MX and T92 are all that is necessary to hold this right here. And here comes the Jagdpanzer, again, just pushing in to multiple enemy tanks at the same time, exposing himself out in the open. There might be children here, and I mean, there might be Blitz YouTubers that expose themselves, whatever, let's not get into that. But basically, if you want to do well in this game, don't expose yourself out in public, right? Understand that what you want to do is you take control without giving up space to the enemy to fill, to then attack you from multiple sides. You don't want to do that. Now that Sheridan, he's still chilling over there. I don't know what he's actually up to, but he has not done a very good job, because right now he's getting absolutely pounded again from 2 sides, and the object's dead, and this game is now over. See, the enemy, they tried to push forward and take the middle ridge, but they overdid it. The Jagdpanzer, the E100, the I-7 especially, they completely overdid it, and they just pushed themselves into a massive disadvantage. But instead, the team here would have just sat back and done nothing about it, and the T95 and the AMX would have not countered the I-7, would have not countered the E100, then this game would have very likely looked entirely different. So, take map control. That is all. And then you win on any map, whether it's a new map, whether it's an old map, whether there is ever going to be a new map in Blitz, who knows? I mean, mapping doesn't make money. Crates make money, you know, or selling tanks in 1,000-euro draws, that makes money. But adding new maps doesn't make money, so it's seemingly unlikely that we're going to see a lot of new maps in Blitz in the future, which is why it is a lot more important to learn the ones we already have and to take control of your own game. Otherwise, someone else is going to take control of you and decide your fate for you. And it's probably going to end badly if they're a decent player. So, take map control and take care. See you in the next one. Goodbye.